Going to a church service in the cave was really cool until the lights went out. I don't like the dark.
Being in the dark can be super scary, but even when you can't see God, He can still see you. It's a great day here at Keys for Kids. I'm so glad that you're listening today. My name is Zach. Did you know that God can be everywhere at the same time? It's called being omnipresent. See, right now, God is with you wherever you're listening to this devotional, and He's also with me. And He's on top of the tallest mountain and in the deepest part of the sea. God spoke through the prophet Jeremiah and said, "Do I not fill heaven and earth?" So if you're ever afraid of the dark, remember this: no matter where you are, even if you can't see a thing, God is always with you. And now our story, it's called Even in the Dark. "Church in a cave!" exclaimed Elias. He and his family were on vacation, and Dad had announced they'd be attending a church service inside a cave. "I've never been in a cave," Elias said. "I wonder what it will be like." Early Sunday morning, they were on their way. When they were finally down in the cave and seated in the large room where the service was to be held, Elias shivered. It was very dark, except where electric lights lit the way. Huge stone formations hung down, while others rose up from the floor, casting gloomy shadows. The air was damp, and water dripped down the rocky walls. In his seat, Elias pulled his jacket close around him to keep out the cold, clammy air. "This is interesting, but I don't really like this dark, scary place," he thought. "I hope the sermon doesn't last long." He glanced at the dark shadows cast by the stones. Shortly after the minister started speaking, it was suddenly pitch dark. Elias anxiously reached out toward where his father was sitting. "I'm right here beside you," Dad whispered. The minister had paused in his message, and children began to cry. Some of the adults nervously tried to calm the children. "Don't be afraid. I'm sure the lights will be back on in a few moments," said the minister. "Don't forget that God can see just as well in the dark as in bright sunlight. He's outside in the sunshine, and He's right here with us too. Our great God is omnipresent." "What does that mean, that big word?" Elias whispered to Dad. "It means that God is present everywhere at the same time," Dad replied. "There's no place in this entire universe where God isn't present," continued the minister. "Even way down in this dark cave. He's watching over you this very minute. He cares for us so much that Jesus became one of us and experienced the darkness of death so we would never have to be separated from Him. No matter how dark things get, He is always with us." Elias felt glad God was right there with him. "I don't even feel very scared anymore," he thought. When the lights came back on a moment later, Elias gave his dad a big smile. So what about you? Are you facing something that fills you with fear? Does it feel like you're surrounded by darkness and God is far away? No matter where you are or what it is you're facing, God is there with you. Although you can't see Him, He's watching over you and caring for you. The Bible tells us He is everywhere. He's omnipresent, and Jesus promises that nothing can separate us from Him, not even death. Whenever you're afraid or lonely, remember, He is with you. Our key verse is found in Jeremiah 23:24.
"Do I not fill heaven and earth, says the Lord?"
And our key thought, God is everywhere. Would you like to get the Keys for Kids stories in the mail for free? Just ask your parents to sign up for a free subscription at keysforkids.org/getkeys. That's keysforkids.org/getkeys. I'm Zach with Keys for Kids.